Good morning. Have you ever had to watch someone you love get stuck in something that they can't seem to move forward from, or even worse, spiraling down and down to their own, hitting bottom? There are few things that are more painful for someone who is loving and caring or empathic. So this video is actually 2 days incoming because I've just kind of gone through a process like that myself, and yesterday I was still so deep in it that I couldn't find where to go with it. So I didn't actually do a video. So today you get the benefit of both days and we'll see if we can fit it into 10 minutes or so. So I've been thinking a lot about the difference between sympathy and empathy and compassion. And this might be very controversial, but I'm just going to jump in, and hopefully the people who are watching these videos in the first place, I'm assuming you're pretty much far enough advanced along the path of awareness that you all understand what I mean. Okay, sorry for that brief interruption. So let's start by defining our terms. Sympathy is when you see someone suffering, you can imagine what it is to be in that position and how that feels, and so you feel for them. Empathy is where you feel the feelings in yourself, that when you see someone else suffering, you actually feel it in your own body. And there's another kind of empathy. We don't have two different words for this, but there's another kind of empathy that's actually energetic reception of the other person's suffering or pain. So we pick it up in the energy field and we feel it in our own bodies as if it's ours. And it is a little bit different because if you're empathic, you don't even have to actually necessarily be in the room with the person or aware of what's going on with them, but you'll pick it up and you'll feel it. And then in contrast to those is compassion. And compassion is where you care for another person's suffering, but you don't get pulled into it. You don't lose yourself in it. You can maintain a higher level of perspective, essentially. So let me give you a little example. My godmother is was very close to me, and she was getting up there in age, and her husband had passed and her siblings had passed. And then when my dad passed over, it hit her really hard, understandably. They were very close. And I remember her telling me at that time that she wanted to go as well. She was just ready to go. She was very sad. She had been having a lot of health issues. Her health had been really degenerating, and she had been not comfortable or really well for a long time. And the sympathetic part of me could feel her pain. Well, could understand how she felt kind of alone and suffering and uncomfortable in her body, and just like life was becoming a chore. And the empathetic part of me really felt for how unhappy she was in that kind of a state and situation. But they were, there's another there's another perspective here. There's what we call love perspective, which is that we want something for the other person because it's really going to serve ourselves. For instance, I love her very much and I didn't want her to go. So even though I could sympathize and empathize, there is also that part of love and need that said, but stay with me. All of those are different from compassion. Because compassion would look at that situation and say, yes, I understand how you feel, and if you want to leave, I support that, and I'm here for you, kind of thing. What I'm trying to get at is that sympathy and empathy, and even what we call love, they can lead to what Swami Radha used to call sentimentality, which is, it's caring and it's loving, but at a sort of a lower chakra level. Not that it's bad. I mean, those are good things, like sympathy and empathy and caring and love, however they show up. Those are positive attributes. They're good things. And there are better versions. Because sentimentality leads us to making conclusions and actions that are basically, let's just say, ego-based rather than spirit-based. They're based in a world of form and the limitations of perspective that come from being mortal, instead of being based in the bigger picture. So, getting back to where we started, watching someone go through something yesterday and knowing that there was something underlying it that was going on that was really stuck and painful and hurting and needing healing. And that makes me crazy. It's really hard. That's one of the hardest things for me to deal with and to know even how to cope with. And I got stuck in the love part, which is to say, worrying about the person and caring that they're there mostly because I don't want to lose them, rather than thinking, that it might be their time or whatever. And the sympathy and empathy part, where they're hurting and that makes me hurt and I don't want to hurt, so I want to help them. And it took me a long time to figure out how to come to the compassion part, which is a whole different perspective. It's saying, yes, this person is suffering. And yes, this person is stuck. And yes, this person is confused. And that hurts. And it's their own process. It's their path. It's their journey. And whatever's best for them is what's going to happen. And I can't see that from that limited perspective, that sometimes suffering is the best possible thing that can happen for us. Suffering is like a wake-up call and also a gateway to breaking out of old limiting beliefs and patterns and stepping up into more of our truer selves and higher levels of awareness and self-awareness and, all that good juicy stuff. So that's the difference. Compassion can look at that and go, I feel for you, I'm here for you, and however bad you need this to be for you to, do whatever your journey is, that's okay. I'm okay with that. And I have faith in you. I have faith that you are getting what you need in the long term for your soul's evolution and your heart's highest good in this painful process or time. And this is a really challenging lesson to get, because those of us who are on the spiritual path, or a spiritual path, we are very loving people in general. We are very caring, very heart-centered people. We don't want to see people hurt, anyone hurt, most of us. And especially the further along you go on the path, the more you recognize suffering and the more you regret any form of suffering. And at the same time, to rise above it to that level of compassion is to step up into a further layer of soul awareness. It's a spiritual practice all on its own. And it's very freeing too, because then we're not responsible for fixing anyone or rescuing anyone, which is a trap all on its own. And we don't have to get swamped by this pain and suffering that we see around us. Compassion is the antidote to that. And there's also the part where compassion is one of the key factors to longevity and health. So we're not going to have time to get into that today, but I just want to, drop that in your, what do they say? Drop that in your ear, put a bug in your ear, something like that. Plant a seed. Let's say plant a seed, because I know what that one means. So I hope that this has been clear. I think these are concepts that can be very sort of tangled and confusing, and also can trigger a lot of people. And nonetheless, I have to do my own practice, which is recognizing that this is what's going on for me, and sharing that, and sharing the insights that have come through around it. And just being the best I can, a channel for the goddess to say what she wants to say through me. So with that, I will get on with my day and wish you all the blessings and joy and peace possible in your day as well. So have a lovely one, and I'll see you tomorrow. Blessed be.